feel just the audio, I think. Just basically unscripted, just talk about how much I love this fucking game, Tears of the Kingdom, and how I consider it a perfect sequel. As someone who had a lot of issues with Breath of the Wild, and like by the end of the game, I was feeling more annoyed and being more positive about it. And a variety of reasons. Tears of the Kingdom fixes a lot of it. I have like some minor criticisms, but it's nothing as major as Breath of the Wild. So Tears of the Kingdom, the first thing is the map, I feel, and it's it's incredible. The map is, but it's also incredible how the depths, one of the new areas in the open world, how that wasn't in any promotional material. And it's not like that's a secret in the game. You go to it pretty early. You can go to it whenever after you do a tutorial. But there's literally a main quest early on where you get your camera with Robbie, where you go to the depths. So that's not a spoiler. That is just a thing that's in the game that they just didn't market, which is absurd to me because I haven't explored it too much. I spent a few hours like when I was on that main quest, and I haven't been there before or since. I've had this game for 5 days, so I ain't too far into it, but I've probably played about like, I don't know, 15, 20 hours. I don't know. But yeah, I've been enjoying it, and the map's so much better with just 2 new areas, and they really should have marketed it that way, where you basically just have 2 new maps on top of it, updated, improved Hyrule. Like, that is much more appealing than just, it's Hyrule, but Sky Island. It's like, Tears of the Kingdom, terrible marketing in my opinion. I was not sold on the game at all. I was very concerned that they were just going to do more Breath of the Wild, because people like Breath of the Wild, and ignoring its fundamental flaws. I was wrong. Like the third trailer was fucking brilliant, because that showed so much, and that made me do an immediate 180. So yeah, there's a lot of new enemies as well. Not like a crazy amount, but there's more variety now, and there's more variety of the same enemies, in the sense that you can get stuff like armored ones, like armored bokoblins, and you need to break them with like specific stuff to break their like boulder armor, I guess, and that gives them like an extra health bar essentially. So that's cool. There's like some boss bokoblins and the Moloch looking guys. And it's just so there's more reasons to actually do these encounters, because in Breath of the Wild, and the same applies for Tears of the Kingdom, just because the nature of the game is an open world experience, it's just gonna be like that, where you can just avoid all the camps, you can just avoid all the enemies. But in Tears of the Kingdom, there's more of an incentive to do so, because the mob loot has more uses now. I mean, there's more stuff to make, but also fusing, you can fuse like bokoblin horns, and that gives you a big damage increase on your weapons. And we'll get to the abilities, but the abilities are like the other major thing, alongside how much the open world experience has been improved. Also, there's just more camps. And there's a great variety of camps. It's not just the same 3 camps copy paste. I've seen a great variety already. Though I assume they repeat the ones I've only seen one time, but they're really cool. Like there's one that has like the big boss bokoblin, and that was really cool. And there was like a prisoner guy in a cage, and I think you can put the cage over not prisoners. You can put it over bokoblin. You can imprison a bokoblin, and you got a good reward for helping that guy. So the rewards are better. So there's more incentive to do so. Breath of the Wild, it felt very much like you have to make your own fun, which I get why people like that, but like there wasn't much incentive for me to play Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom, I feel it's more there. you know, with the quests, there's a lot more main quests in Tears of the Kingdom than Breath of the Wild. It still follows the same formula of, hey, there's these 4 regions and shit's happening in them, go sort it out. Like that's still there, but there's more stuff to do there. Like I just finished the water temple, which is the one where you go to Zora's domain, which is the one I went to first in Breath of the Wild. That was the first Divine Beast I beat, the one over there, which was completely by accident because I forgot where they were. I didn't know where I was going. I was like, I'll go to this one. And yeah, it was a good quest. And I've already done like 8 main quests, and a lot, like a huge chunk, like 6 or whatever, 6 or 5, would have been just like quests leading up to the water temple thing. And I liked more. Like, it's a lot of puzzle based stuff. Although there was some like interesting story specific stuff. Like you have like a boss fight. Of like the sludge monster, like, which is one of the new enemies, but it's like a boss version of that. Also, the temple. The temples are better than Divine Beast. The puzzles, at least the one I did, was like so much like less frustrating. It was clear what you were meant to do. The only gripe I had was you needed Scion to follow you for his ability, and you had to activate like this terminal thing to get him to follow you for no real reason. Because pressing that, because the thing is, you're supposed to press that after it's done, and I guess the game expects you to try it out, even though it's clearly not going to work the first time you try it, and then Sidon follows you. That I thought was a bit annoying because I didn't realise, but the puzzle itself was fine. It's just keep that in mind. I've liked the puzzles a lot more generally. Like shrine puzzles. I'm going to so many. There's so much stuff to talk about, but shrine puzzles are so much better because the abilities are much better and there's much more freedom to do shrines. You can break shrines essentially, but they're less like specific annoying bullshit like the stasis stuff. Remember the one where you had to hit like the ball into like a hole, like, and you would just break all your weapons doing it. Yeah, you don't get shit like that anymore. Thank fuck. There's also more shrines. I think there's shrines in all the original Breath of the Wild locations. I don't know because honestly, didn't familiarize myself with the map too much. It's not that memorable to me. I think the Tears of the King map is much better. I'm enjoying it much more. But the Breath of the Wild map, like it was a good open world experience, but I don't think it was like it is a fine. It was an average open world, but Tears of the Kingdom takes it to the next level with the Sky Islands and the depths, and just Hyrule itself was improved. So you have like the 120 shrines still there. They're all different, but I think they're in the same location, but the shrine puzzles are different. And then you have like 32 more in the sky, I believe. That's what I read. I mean, I also read that the game has 18 main quests, which is more than Breath of the Wild, I think. But the things I've already done, like a huge chunk that were just part of the Zora's Domain stuff. So there's probably more, honestly. But I could be wrong. It's not a crazy amount of main quests, but they're definitely better. They're also better written, like the story stuff. I prefer. The main villain isn't just a monster. The temple bosses, those are like original characters. They aren't just generic like forms of Ganondorf. Which also there was a very good intro to the game. With the Demon King, which is he actually called Ganondorf? Cause I see everyone call him Ganondorf, but that name has not been said in my playthrough at all yet. He's just referred to as the Demon King, so I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, he's a cool villain. Although I haven't seen him since the intro. So yeah, I don't know all the specifics there because I haven't progressed far enough, but since I've done one of the temples, I can safely say that they're definitely better than the Divine Beast. And also you get like other little main quests, like again, like the camera quest with Robbie. That's an extra little something to do, which I feel a player might miss doing that. And then go a good while in the game without the camera. I think that might be possible. I managed to notice it straight away, but I feel it's definitely missable. But yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong. Everyone could find it. But the thing is, I remember in Breath of the Wild, you'd miss a lot of simple shit. Tears of the Kingdom, I felt that way in a few things. Like, doing the puzzle stuff, you need to go find the king of Lord's Domain. And he was just hidden behind a fucking waterfall. I would definitely recommend getting a guide for that. Because bro's just hidden behind a waterfall and you had no indication to look behind waterfalls. You get no hints to finding him. And you need to find him to solve the puzzle. Which felt a bit scripted because I could have solved the puzzle myself. I could have gone up to the temple without doing the puzzle shit, honestly. Because you could just make a hot air balloon and go all the way up. But you need to do all the story stuff to get Sidon to do the actual... to finish the quest stuff. So that wasn't really a problem for me, but it was something I noticed because I was making a hot air balloon to get to the area you need to complete the puzzle, basically. And whereas if I just keep using my little battery boost things, I can just keep going up and I'd make it onto the islands above. I didn't do that though, but it's something you could do, but I believe because you need Cylon to do the puzzles, then you'd have to go back and do the other main quest stuff, even though you found a solution yourself. So I can see that being annoying, especially for a game that's all about like its freedom and shit. Main quest can kind of conflict with that a bit, but I kind of prefer it that way because I didn't like Breath of the Wild's whole thing where it doesn't feel like there's anything going on, honestly. You got a divine beast, you do them, then I guess you fight Ganon, and that's it. And I guess you can make the same argument for Tears of the Kingdom because it's the same formula, but it feels like there's more going on, essentially. And I don't know because I haven't seen the final boss, but I assume when you beat it, it's going to be like Breath of the Wild where there's no actual ending, which would definitely be a shame. I mean, I'm expecting it this time at least. But because of, again, how the game's structured, I don't think that's changing at all. So yeah, I decided to continue with the quest stuff. I mean, I'm probably just going to be fucking around. I'll probably go back to the depths when I play it. That's the thing, there's so much to explore. There's so much more stuff to explore. And it feels like an incentive to explore stuff. Like, there's more stuff to upgrade, like your Zonai battery thing, for example. A lot more shrines to do. I believe there's more side quests. And side quests is another thing I didn't care about in Breath of the Wild. I do now. I don't know if that's because I'm generally into Tears of the King more, or if the quests are actually better than Breath of the Wild. Because I did like a couple in Breath of the Wild and I found them tedious. And I found you didn't get sufficient rewards. But Tears of the King, I feel is in better ones. I've done like 5 of them so far. And I quite enjoyed them. So I think it's good for content. Whereas Breath of the Wild, I thought, actually didn't have a crazy amount of content. That was worthwhile. There was a lot there with the shrines and stuff. But I never enjoyed the shrines. I never enjoyed the side quests. I didn't really enjoy the main quests because the Divine Beasts were annoying as fuck. And that's why when I got to the final boss, and it just led to nothing, I had done so much tedious shit for nothing. Whereas Tears of the Kingdom, I'm actually having fun, which, that's good. I think if you also didn't like Breath of the Wild, I'd honestly give this game a try. Yeah, it looks very similar in the marketing material, but there was so much that has changed, there's so much new stuff. I do quite like it. And most notably is the abilities. We're finally getting onto that. Tears of the Kingdom replaces Breath of the Wild's rune abilities with, I think they're just called right hand abilities. You have Ultra Hand, which is basically magnesis, except you can pick up anything and you can attach it to anything. So there's so much freedom there. Like, there's a huge difference between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom abilities. Tears of the Kingdom abilities, you'll be using them so often. each one is incredibly useful. The four main ones, that is. I think there's a fifth one that I don't have yet. That's basically auto build, and also there's like some like ground pound ability you get from I don't even know what. I don't know if that's a main quest thing, but that's something that I've seen. Even though I don't know how to get it, I don't know how to get the auto build thing either. But that's ability I don't have yet. But yeah, the four main ones. Of course, you got Ultra Hand, as I said, fuse, where you fuse weapons. You can fuse items to arrows, which replaces the elemental arrow system, which means arrows feel more scarce. And the menu you have to like scroll through, but I think the sort by most used arrangement for that column has made it not tedious to me. But I could see people seeing it as quite tedious to scroll through all your items to find around. And I don't even think a lot of them actually do anything as well, so I don't know why they're an option to put on your arrows. But yeah, I like it. I like the variety of stuff you can do. You can also just throw items. Like there's a lot of uses for basically all items, which I really like. And yeah, fusing weapons together. You'll always be using fuse because it just guarantees a stronger weapon if you fuse anything to a weapon. So yeah, it's really cool. All the stuff you can fuse together. You can do some crazy shit. Like you can make a flamethrower. You make a rocket shield, which basically breaks towers. Yeah, there's just a lot. Because you can attach the Zonai devices to it. And the Zonai devices you can get from like these, I guess these things, these machines, you put these Zonai things in them. I can't remember what they're called, cores, I think. You put them in and they spew out like various little devices, like fans, these winged things, carts. There's so many. I don't think I've unlocked. Like I was surprised when I kept finding new ones. I was like, holy shit! I still haven't found all of them. There's some like time bombs as well. There's so much, and again, it's something you'll be using regularly. Not too constantly, but like you'll be finding a use for them for sure. A lot of them at least. So yeah, Fuse and Ultra Hand definitely the main abilities, and the next two are probably less important, but still very good. Ascend is just really good for mobility, and there's some really cool puzzles using Ascend. Basically, there's a ceiling above you. You can just ascend through it. It's very cool, and very handy for like traversing and stuff. So yeah, that definitely has a use. And then there's Recall, which is stasis but better. You use it on an item, and it just rewinds time. So it rewinds your item to its main position. You can use it to like rewind like stones thrown at you by like enemies, throw whatever back at them. Or you can just cheese using Ultra Hand. Like the wing you need to be in the air for it to work. So you just pick it up with Ultra Hand, put it back down, then get on it, recall, then it just brings it back into the air because you had carried it into the air using Ultra Hand. So Ultra Hand and Recall kind of go hand in hand in that way. And again, Recall's just such a useful ability. I'm using it much more than I even thought I would. Ascend is like the more circumstantial one, but like when there's obviously going to be a lot of circumstances where there's a ceiling, obviously. So it beats the bombs. You have bomb flowers now, which I prefer. Thunder rune bombs that did no damage. Magnesis is literally still in the game with Ultra Hand, basically. Stasis was just made for really annoying puzzles. And it was just like a very tedious thing. Oh, hit it in this specific direction. I know there's cool shit you could do with it, and it's probably a skill issue, but it was annoying. And then I don't know what it's called. The ice block one. You don't need it anymore because it's great mobility stuff. And yeah, they're just more fun. They're more creative. They're more useful abilities, and they greatly help the game because that's one of the main Splash Bar marketers. Like, oh, look at these cool abilities. they're not that cool, honestly. Like Tears of the Kingdom abilities, like, blow my fucking mind. They are insane. And at first, when I saw the trailer, the gameplay footage, I was like, that's going to be tedious to use. Using Ultron to build your shit, that's going to be tedious to use. It's not. It might be initially, but you get used to it while doing the tutorial stuff. I know there's some slowdown when you're in the Ultron setting initially, but I don't see that problem anymore. Maybe it's just because I've gotten used to it, so I don't notice it. Or it just depends on the location. But you might get some slowdown on that, but nothing game breaking. I had no glitches really. It's a very polished game. But Breath of the Wild, there's a lot of glitches, to say the least. So yeah, I think it's an upgrade in basically every regard. The rewards you get inside like the weird spirit things, when you do a temple, you basically get these spirits of like a character who helps you out, and they're basically like these NPC allies. But you can get an ability if you go up to them. Like Sidon's like this water, surrounded with like this water bubble thing to protect you. But also you can like use it as an attack, as like a projectile water attack. So that's pretty cool, although it definitely isn't as useful as the old spirit ones, I assume. At least this one isn't. Also, I could see it being quite annoying trying to kind of run up to him to get the ability. That seems a bit annoying. But I don't know. I might enjoy it. Again, I haven't really experienced it yet. I just unlocked it. But even so, I probably prefer it to the spirit orb things. I don't know what they're called, but you know, the Mipha's Grace and the other ones. Mipha's Grace is literally just resurrects you, you know. So those are quite overpowered. And whilst they're probably more useful than these weird NPC ally spirit things, I prefer the spirits probably. Of course, I'm going to need to play it more to get a clear answer, but I think they're better. They're more balanced, I guess. I know there's like the bird one that gives you like a glider boost. That one seems useful, and you can just do it automatically. You don't need to be close to anyone. So that one looks really useful. I don't know what the other two do. If there might be more actually. I don't know. I assume there's 4, like how there's 4 of the spirit things of Breath of the Wild, but I could be totally wrong there. Again, I don't know. But yeah, that's what you unlock if you're curious. Also, you still get heart containers when you do the temples. So yeah, that about covers it all. The abilities, the shrines, the side quests, the main quests, the locations, the Zonai devices, Sky Islands, the depths, like all this crazy stuff. It's really cool. I'm so impressed with this game. I did like a complete 180 because I did not think it'd be as good as this, but I really like it. As someone who has a ton of criticisms of Breath of the Wild, I recommend Tears of the Kingdom. I think it's an upgrade in every way, and it's very fun. So yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. So that about does it for this video. There's probably more to talk about because of how much are in these games, but those are just my kind of initial thoughts, I guess. I really like the game. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.